All right, guys, so check it out. We're here at Brawlers in Miami, Florida. We're gonna go ahead and do a full body workout where we're gonna go through dynamic effort into repetition effort, meaning we're gonna be working explosive power, working our way into speed strength, and then finishing off with repetition effort, which is muscle endurance. Follow along, let's make it happen. All right, guys, so the first thing we're gonna do is a dynamic warm-up, and first thing we wanna do is work on the upper body, because primarily this is what we're going to be utilizing when we do our dynamic movements and our explosive power movements. This is a scapular pull-up. The goal here is to just get range of motion in that scap, working on rotating the scapula around the rib cage and also traction out the shoulders. Immediately after that, we're going to go into scap push-ups where you're in a closed chain position, going into protraction and retraction, then right into a push-up where you're gonna go all the way down into the position, release the hands off the floor, squeeze the scaps or shoulder blades together, and then drive into that push-up position, working on protraction. Again, we're warming up the body, warming up the shoulders, getting it prepared for the work ahead. All right, the next thing I'm doing here is a frog push-up where I'm driving back into position, getting my knees, my ankles, and my hips in that bent position, extending the hips, knees, and then going into a full push-up with a shoulder airplane, rotating through that transverse plane. All this here is doing is, again, working on range of motion, increasing T-spine mobility, and also getting the shoulders overhead, improving on shoulder flexion, and again, working on activating the muscles that we're gonna use throughout the dynamic portion of the workout. All right, guys, so we're working our way down to the lower body. Here is a hip airplane and a closed and open chain, working on internal and external rotation of the hip, just opening and closing that angle down, working on our ability to rotate through in a closed chain and open chain movement. This is gonna be really good for change of direction drills, for speed work, for power, and also even for lifting too as well, to activate the muscles to help you externally rotate and internally rotate. All right, so here we got the wall drills. All we're doing here is firing up the hip flexors, getting ourselves ready and prepared for more sprinting movements. Simple wall drill where we're driving into the wall, utilizing hip flexors, utilizing hip extension with the glutes, and rapidly firing. All right, so now we're gonna move on to our sprinting and speed work. This is just some build-ups with a high knee stride into a quick sprint out. Again, just working on speed, working on acceleration. All right, so now we're moving on to explosive power, and my boy Timbo decided to show up. Obviously, we're gonna blame it on Miami traffic that he came late. Either way, he had to jump in with us. Overhead toss to the rear. This is good for triple extension. It's really good for improving on power and rate of force production through the posterior chain. So you're utilizing your ability to extend the body, produce force, throwing that ball as far as you possibly can. We're gonna do this for 5 reps, making sure that every rep is explosive and powerful.
Jumping into the wall here. Go. One at a time. Go through the line. All right? Yeah. So I'm gonna jump, throw, next person goes. All right? Catch it and go. We got 10 of these. Dip in, so hinge, punch it through. Ha!
All right, so we're moving on to the chest pass, elbows in tight, jumping through. This is just for pressing power primarily. You can use a med ball that's slightly heavier for males. I would say 16 pounds to 20 pounds. Do this rapidly, so you don't want to spend too much time in between. The goal here is to repeat power for that time frame that's minimal in rest. All right, so moving our way onto the speed strength portion, where we're using kettlebell swings. I'm gonna be doing a single arm swing. First, it's gonna be a swing high pull with the elbow comes up, you bend the elbow, bringing it back down into a regular swing. You can do 5 reps of each on each hand, do 3 sets total. We're gonna be doing a high pull to rotational press with the landmine. So we're working the transverse plane here. Again, it's upper body focus, but you're still having to pull from the ground. So you're using a little bit of lower body too as well to get the motion started. Once you roll that bar up, you're gonna feed it to the other hand, rotate the hips and press forward in that 45-degree angle. As you can see, I'm increasing the load. The goal is to get as much load on that bar as possible while still staying fast and explosive. Moving on to one of my favorite exercises of all time, really, at the end of the day. I've been doing this since I was a kid. This is hammer slams. Basically, what we're doing is working rotational power. You're switching from each arm, making sure that you're slamming it down as effectively and efficiently as possible. Make sure when you're doing these hammer slams that you keep a tight grip, but when you go to slam that hammer down, make sure that you loosen the grip so that you can slide the hand appropriately down and give you a good lever to produce force from. All right, so now we're gonna move on to the hypertrophy portion of the actual workout. This is more high volume. We're just really trying to get more blood flow and increase muscle endurance too as well to some degree. Working the leg extensions and then switching it up, going to the upper body, working some hammer curls here. Again, high volume sets, working into 20 rep sets. So again, more muscle endurance than hypertrophy, but you're still gonna get a pump. You're still gonna be able to look a certain way after you do this. All right, switching it up, we're gonna go hamstring curls. Here's a lying hamstring curl. I love these, obviously. I never skipped them because we do have some good hamstrings on us, right? Now, we're gonna get full range of motion. Again, high repetitions, 20 rep sets, but I like to dorsiflex my feet, making sure that I'm also hitting a little bit of gastroc too as well. Right after that, we're gonna superset that with tricep extensions. This is a tricep push down or press down. All we're doing here is just trying to get blood flow in the triceps. And again, working more muscle endurance with that 20 rep set.